You're watching the Can I Kick It podcast. I'm your host, 2Gs.
It's your boy, Lon.
Hudson.
And today we are kicking it with a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Chris, but everybody knows me as Bris for some reason. But you can call me whatever you want.
And for those that aren't familiar with you, what do you do? What are you about?
I'm part owner of Syndicate Los Angeles. You guys can find us at 969 North Hill Street or Syndicate Los Angeles. That's our Instagram.
Cool. I want to jump straight into it. I want you to kind of give the audience your timeline for those that don't know your first stores and how you started to all the way up to Syndicate now.
So from the start to finish?
Yeah,
like
or whatever. Yeah,
sneakers?
We'll keep it sneaker related.
Okay. All right, so
yeah.
Got into sneakers and like streetwear in 2006. That was all just basketball and kind of like skateboarding. I didn't really skate, but I just like was around it so much. But yeah, so whatever, did that my whole high school, had little jobs and to get gear, save up my bread. Then I started working at Riff LA, which is in Little Tokyo. It's still in Little Tokyo on 2nd Street. I started working there 2012, I believe. Then after that, I actually worked at Neo 39, which is in Pasadena. But that was like office work. I was doing like a lot of like their accounting, which I definitely didn't have an accounting degree or anything, or like even like just telling them what to buy and stuff like that. Or it wasn't even like I was doing that. I was just kind of giving them like tips and stuff like that. It was cool, but it wasn't for me. Then pretty much went to round 2, and that's where I really like, I would say, made a name for myself at round 2. Was there for a while. Then I moved to New York in 2017. Was there up until late 2021 when I finally essentially decided to open Syndicate.
What initiated the Syndicate thought?
So I had left round 2, and I just left round 2 because I was overworked, and I didn't want to open a store. I think I told you guys before. Didn't want to open a store, didn't care for it. I just kind of had lost, like, after working so much, like, just straight, I kind of was just over it, just, like, repetitive. So I was just like, I'm not going to do this no more. So I got a job at District 1, which was part-time, and then I got a job with St. Clair in New York. It was kind of like consulting, but also like, I don't know, he's like launching an app or something like that. I'm not too familiar anymore what he was doing, but it was like supposed to be like a more higher end like StockX/Grail type thing with like crazy archive things. But whatever, so it wasn't nothing too crazy at the moment, but it was good pay for me, so it was nice. And then, like, I think my homegirl Angelica actually kind of put the drive in me to just like, yo, like, you're always going to have that, like, little itch of, like, what if?
Of, like, to do something or just in general?
It's just, like, how would a store look fully under, like, my vision?
Yeah.
So she would always tell me, like, literally, like, hey, like, you're always going to have that itch, because DC was already kind of in my ear, like, yo, we should do this. And I was just kind of like, I'm enjoying my life, you know, like, I'm essentially traveling, partying, living. Yeah, like I would say I was like actually happy after I left round 2 for a bit, but it was cut pretty short because literally one day I was just like, all right, fuck it, let's do this shit.
So that correlates with like the end of happiness for a little bit?
It was just straight to like more like groundwork, starting all over, because even though I'm born and raised in LA, it felt, I still feel like an outsider, I would say. I still feel like I'm not from here, so I can't really like be like, oh, I'm an LA dude, blah, blah, blah. Even though I was born and raised, I felt like I became a whole new person in New York.
Mm-hmm. So that's like, pretty much New York is like your second home.
Yeah, I would say it was my second home, and it still kind of is, but now I'm kind of finally like meeting you guys, meeting new friends and groups, because when I came back, I just had like 2 or 3 friends, and I don't really like, I don't want to, it sounds dickish, but I don't really consider my business partners like friends, because we do, it's business.
Yeah, let's talk about the same kind of shit.
So now I'm finally kind of like spreading my wings out here in LA, getting to know more of the city, essentially like getting back into it, but knowing, because LA from when I left to when I came back, it's a whole new LA. And that's just like my opinion. I feel like a lot of people that are from LA are gonna be like, oh, you don't know shit about but it's just like what I think, you know.
Yeah, because what you left New York in 2017.
I left to New York in 2017.
To New York, and then you came back in 2020.
late 2021.
Oh, so you're gone for 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years, but those are like 4 like prominent years
Yeah.
because
With the
like
pandemic too.
You left
And-
before
yeah,
pandemic,
and my-
came back after pandemic. So
yeah, in my opinion, like that era of streetwear before, like from 17 to 19, kind of like stopped during COVID, and then it restarted in 21 with like a Syndicate opening in a way. Like at least that's what I kind of think.
popped off.
No, yeah, it was like I think I left round 2 Hollywood peak like streetwear.
Streetwear.
Like,
Yeah,
in
that was-
LA,
that was
peak,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
kids running in and like the consumerism that I saw there, like kids fighting for T-shirts, for box logos, then going to New York and then building a whole new like round 2 family there and seeing the same type of consumerism, but in a different way. It was just like way faster, and then coming back to LA and seeing like where it is now. I feel like it's just 2 different worlds.
Yeah, I feel like everything now is so like accessible to where everybody's like it's lazy, you know, like oh, I can go online and get it. There's no more like authentic feel to like how, you know, like you fucking go into a store and getting everything, and now you can go to the apps.
Anyway, it's like to me, it's more watered down.
Yeah,
It's a lot watered down. You know, before like a couple years ago, like even in walking in certain shops, it's like I don't get that same feeling like when you used to go to. I don't know if you guys know, but I used to go to Melrose and be like I'm here, like you know, I'm on Melrose.
It was
like,
a
I'm gonna
thing,
come cop.
right?
Yeah. And then now it's just like, all right, I'm about to go to Melrose. Like I'm a dip. Like I'm gonna just go here, sell some shoes, or buy some shoes, and I'm out.
It's funny how sorry about that.
No. Well, before I used to be like, all right, I'm gonna go to Melrose. I'm gonna walk up and down. I'm gonna go see what's up to round 2. I'm gonna walk to Cool Kicks, like just visit all the stores. And I'm gonna go all the way down to Fairfax, and like you know, you spend a whole day on Melrose. Now it's just more people are just going up there in 5-10 minutes. All right, I'm dipping.
Like it's funny, like how you say that, like making it a thing to go there. I remember I used to do that too. We'd go, me and my buddies would go, but I feel so fucking intimidated. And it was all the shit I love, like fucking round 2, like shoewear. I always love shoewear, but like when I from growing up over here on this side of the fence from LA, some people don't even consider our side,
LA,
like Pico,
Downey, Pico, part of it.
Yeah.
Half the people don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So when I was young, going over there, dude, I felt like an outsider. Like, damn, I kind of want to be like these people, but it's like over here, I mean, shit, there wasn't shit popping off like that, bro. Sometimes I would get like not clowned on, but like just like, oh yeah, you wear like different stuff. But it was just because here it's so like so small, dude, like super small. You can wear the most like normal thing, and people are like, oh, what the fuck is that? Because it's so
It's a different world.
Yeah.
To me, out here, there's not like there's no like streetwear like fan base or not fan base, but like there's no culture, streetwear culture here. So it's like the Pico Rivera Downey area. It's more like its own thing.
It's like suburban.
It's super. It's very traditional.
Traditional.
Yeah.
So
very.
like, how was that when you were first starting off? Like, did
We
you
were,
ever
like-
feel that same way?
We were like the only ones. It was a group of us. Like it was like it was like no more than 10 that I knew, and we all knew each other just based on like liking Supreme, Jordans, SBs, and then again it was just like if you would see somebody with a certain pair of shoes, even if you didn't know him, you kind of just gave him like a head nod,
yeah.
and just because you're like, oh, you know what's up, you know?
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like now it's kind of like more common, I would say. But back in the day, it was like nobody. Like everybody was wearing Hollister and Converse or like super Paisa gear.
Or super skate gear?
No, yeah.
Or skaters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there was a lot of skaters. There was like a lot of crew. Crew was big around that time.
Dude, I remember Fallen,
Yeah,
like
all
skate,
that
all that
stuff.
stuff.
Fallen was
Hardcore
nice.
skate brands. Whereas my Nike SBs were at a point frowned upon. He would be like, "Oh, you Americas are better." All that shit, bro. It's funny.
So like, has the idea of representation ever like come to your mind now? Like as a store owner, kind of maybe you see like it from a different lens of like, you know, like things have been kind of changed in the past few years, and politics are like a topic now, and race and just representation and diversity. But that's one of the reasons why I think I connected with you guys too. But like, what are your thoughts on that now as you're kind of?
I feel like it's something that I'm evolving with at this as well. It's never been my thing. I just kind of stay in my own little world. But I think like now, like a lot of people are like, oh, you should take the whole like I'm Hispanic route, blah blah blah. And I was like, I am Hispanic. What do you mean take this route?
Exactly,
You know, like,
yeah.
like it's just part of my life. You know, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm Hispanic, blah blah. It's like if you know I'm Hispanic, great. If you don't, who cares? You know, like I'm not. At the end of the day, like I just tell people I'm essentially like a retail worker, but I take my job serious. I like what I do. And to me, it's more of community building, and it's kind of like I want to welcome everybody. Like I think Syndicate stands. I would say for me, it's like the underdog store. You know, it's like if you never felt accepted, you could come to Syndicate and you're gonna feel accepted.
Most def, for sure.
Yeah, I think you basically kind of what I got from is like it's not all about that, but you know, you're gonna be yourself and still accept anybody who doesn't feel like they're a part of something.
Definitely. Like I'm not big on politics. I'm not big on anything like that. At the end of the day, I just try to enjoy my life, and if I could make somebody get a good deal or bring them a little bit of happiness, I'll be like, all right, that's what it's all about. Like at the end of the day, like I just want to have fun, joke around. I don't take life too serious.
Mm-hmm. That's why I love like you guys. Your sense of humor is everything to me. But it's just like at Syndicate, like the shop that you built, like the culture that you have there is like it's like no matter how you dress, how you look, or if you're just now getting the sneakers or if you've been in the sneakers, you're not gonna get looked at differently or treated differently. Like if you don't have on a pair of cool shoes, no one's gonna like make fun of you, or even the people like other customers in the store. Like everyone minds their own business, or you know, you walk around the shop, you pick up a shoe, someone's gonna tell you that's fresh, or you should cop, or you don't have to worry about being at another shop and like, you know, you pick up a shoe that you think is cool, and then someone goes in the corner and like, essentially, look what the fuck he's trying to buy, you know?
It's like a fuck clubhouse.
Yeah,
to be honest.
It's just a giant clubhouse. Yeah, like there was this family when we first opened. It was a mom and dad and a kid, and same thing. We like, the kid. I remember the kid was like had glasses, and I would say like if you like look, and don't want to disrespect him, but he kind of looked like on the nerdier side. But I remember at the end of the day, he came, felt comfortable, bought a T-shirt, bought a pair of shoes, and then I remember the dad, like at the register, was like, "Yo, thank you. Like, no store has treated my son the way you guys have treated him." And I was just like, damn. Like in my head, I'm like, do people suck, or I was just like, I just treat them like normal. Like to me, that's just normal. And the biggest shocker to me is when people come to the store and they're like, "You guys are just like how you guys are on the internet," and I was just like, "What? Do you think I'm playing around?" You know, like I'm like.
But like how we talked about it, that goes with, like, it's the customer service, but at the same time, to have customer service and to give like your consumers that experience, you guys have knowledge on this shit. You guys been doing this shit for years, so that plays a huge part in like, because some stores you have kids that are opening up stores and have no knowledge of nothing. I mean, props to them for doing what they're doing, but like, it's hard to give some of that experience when they don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Like it's one thing to have good product, but how are you gonna push the product if you don't have the right, you know, people there, you know, selling it or helping people out?
I feel like streetwear culture, what it was brought upon is like knowing the knowledge of what you're wearing. Exactly. I feel like everything to me has like a tale, like, oh, I've got this shirt because, and that's what we try to do. Like you're wearing the Coachella tee, it's just like that was for Coachella, you know, like it's just like we do like, it's like stuff like that. Like, oh, I remember this, like. A big part of like my younger like streetwear knowledge was like Nick Diamond. I would say I learned a lot from him just through like watching him from afar and just how he would do like certain drops. Like, hey, I'm doing this. I remember one of his most famous tees, the harassment tee, and he's like, hey, I'm doing 100. I don't know, something like that. It's very small, limited run. But he was straight put it on the internet. 100 tees, pull up, people would line up. And he would come out of the store and like talk to every single person, and I was just like, "Yo, this is fucking Nick Diamond here, just talking to all of us." And to him, it was probably like, "Oh, I'm just a regular dude," but to us, I was just like, "Oh, it's fucking Nick Diamond," you know?
Who does your merch designs?
Skinny. This guy's Skinny. It's technically, I like to. It's funny. Me and him say that me and him are like Daft Punk. Like we're a group that like we have like good ideas, and. Essentially, he has ideas, I have ideas, we mix them up. He's amazing on the computer, like amazing. So we literally go, I remember he told me, he's just like, for every design you get, just know there's like 15 rough drafts of me changing it up.
Shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But Skinny, he's elite. Like, he's elite.
I feel like the Syndicate merch, I feel like not a lot of sneaker stores or like, aside from obviously round two, whatever, but I wanted to give you credit on the merch because I feel like that's able to stand alone from just like
for sure
Syndicate sneaker store or like
trade,
I visited LA Syndicate on it, you know, but it's like, you know, I'm curious to see
brand.
where it goes in the you know, in the future, but right now I feel like it definitely has a cool start where I can see it being its own thing.
Yeah, it's a brand, I would say. what's it called? I always tell people it's anything when we like. So all of our t-shirts kind of have like a little bit of meaning. I don't like to capitalize on anything. Like if something comes out, oh, let me make a fucking, if Bread Force come out, oh, let me make something that goes for Bread Force. It's like, bro, I just make something that I like, you know, something that has meaning. Like right now, I'm doing a series called The Film Club, and I posted on my Instagram, I post like the film. And my goal is for you to essentially get that clip and be like, oh, let me watch this movie so I can understand why he's making this fucking shirt. Even like I was training with one of my friends, Gonzo, today, and I've been taking my time with like the Cindy Fit stuff, but I told him, I'm like, you know what, like you can't buy Cindy Fit stuff. Like I just thought about it. I was like, you gotta come run with me, and if you complete the run, I'll give you a fucking shirt. And then he was just kind of like, bro, it's brilliant. Like you can't buy this fucking shirt, or you can't buy this gear. You gotta come here, do the run, and you gotta earn the tee, and we'll give it out for free.
What's the run? 5 miles?
Nah, it's simple, 2 miles.
For anybody, like, are we invited? Like,
It's still in the works, but like that's literally it hit me while we were running, because I was just like, yeah, I can put out this T-shirt for $40, and yeah, people are gonna buy it, great, you know. But in my head, I was just like, that's not what Cindy Fit is about. Cindy Fit's about like actually being
doing
Cindy Fit.
It's an
you know?
actual
Like,
story behind it.
yeah, so it's just like, oh, I went to this run, and then one of like my friends works with this acai making company, and he was just like, yo, like we're down to do this whole thing, like an event where you guys train, and then after we cater acai bowls. And I'm like, that's bro, cool. Perfect, you know, easy.
Sick as fuck. And then also too, one thing with the merch is that you guys, okay, it kind of brings me back like a nostalgic feel, because you guys don't really do restocks or shit.
No, it's
so
done.
That's what I like.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like collecting the shirts, which is fun. Because even when I'm gonna start kicking it, I think 3 times a day I hear a customer, when are you guys bringing back this? When are you guys bringing back that? So like it's cool, like knowing I have it, or knowing I have like when he gives me like the friends and family stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, like I have shit that like no one has. Like it's cool. Like it brings back that like, damn, like I get that exclusive, like only I have it, or only whoever bought it at this time have it. Yeah. So a lot of these other brands, I mean, no shame or anything, but they make so much success on one shirt. It's like you see that shit so many times, like it kind of burns it out in a way.
Yeah, there's no knock to any other brands.
Yeah,
like, restock. One of my friends high up in the game, he straight up told me, he was like, bro, run it up, make 1 million of that hat. It's gonna sell every time. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. And he's right. Like our classic museum hat, I could have 1 million of them in the store. They're gonna sell. They're gonna sell at once, not at once, but eventually. And he was just like, yo, bro, don't gatekeep anything. And it's not that I'm gatekeeping. I just kind of want to make you feel special. Like we did a pop-up a year and a half ago now in New York, and we did the first Spider-Man shirt, the black and white one.
I still need him.
And in the back, it said So NY. So when we technically restocked it for LA, we took off the So NY because we're not in New York.
Right.
So I wanted to feel that consumer that went to the pop-up, they're like, oh, I got this one that says So NY at the pop-up only, and everybody else that got the regular one is just the Spider-Man front. Mm-hmm. So I still try to keep it fun, and like I said, I'm not big on restocks, because once you like stop having fun, I think that's when like it's over, you know.
So, quick question. I know like a long time ago on one of your pods, you said that you don't want to make merch. You want Syndicate to be like the store and the brand. Yeah. What made you, like, it's obviously doing real successful. What made you realize like what drop was it that made you realize like, yo, like I've got something?
Honestly, none.
Not even the Princess Diana shit, because I know everybody goes crazy for that.
So you still feel like,
no, I to me it's just like I'm gonna make clothes that I like. Regardless. You could be the only person that buys that tee, and I'm gonna be like, I like it, you like it, that's good enough for me.
But what keeps that, like, that's a hard mentality. I mean, I have my own kind of side stuff that I do, and I'll be lying I think people lie when they say, I don't look into the numbers, I don't look into all that, but like.
Well, let me tell you a funny story. You remember the nightmare hat, the camel with the red? Like I think now it's like our most like noticeable hat. When we first dropped it, real shit, we sold one.
And it's
one hat sold. But I'm not gonna be like, fuck, blah blah blah. And I remember one of my colleagues made, damn, you didn't sell out? And I was just like, no, it's not supposed to sell out, you know? And he kind of like tried to make fun of me, but it wasn't. I didn't take it that way. I was just like, bro, like, I want to be able to go to Supreme and get a Supreme hat. Like, I want a kid to come into Syndicate and be able to get a Syndicate.
I want a Syndicate.
Whatever. couple that was early when we dropped it. Like I don't know when we dropped it.
Was it October?
No, it was way before that because then when we started the podcast, which was December,
You dropped the
I
Store
wore
Credit
it.
one.
I wore it in the podcast, and all the DMs were like, "ID on hat. When is that hat dropping? What the fuck? I need that hat." And we gave away all the hats that we had left over at the 1 year anniversary in the goodie bags. So a lot of people got that hat for free. So then that was the only item that we restocked because people never saw it till I did the podcast. And then I still even switched it. I put store credit in the back instead of Los Angeles. So I still made a small change to it. But it was just funny that it just kind of goes back. You can't. My friend made fun of me for not selling out, and we sold one hat, but I wasn't like, oh, it's the end of the world. Fuck, you know, like.
About it.
Because I could tell you're a real, like, disciplined or dedicated. You know, you talk about working hard in your job and everything. And I feel like there's, like, a thin line between... I might be just selfishly asking you questions at this point, but, like, there's a thin line of, like, being hungry and motivated and trying to get something going. And I feel like that relates a lot, at least with me, to, like, my feelings or emotions about a certain drop or a certain video or certain content that I do. So, like, I commend you on what you just said because that's a hard thing to do and separate it.
Yeah, it's like taking a jab and somebody hits you in the face and you're just like, all right, bet, just keep it pushing. But I think that's how I run around with my whole life. My whole life just like, all right, bet.
Like now when you do the merch or whenever you drop something, whenever you plan something, is it easier knowing you have that cushioning like of you kind of already grew a following. So when you drop something, it's kind of easier like, oh, you know, like I'm kind of well known in this industry, like to where it doesn't, I don't know how to explain it.
Like you're not tripping, like, I'm going to drop it. Someone's going to like it.
Yeah, if I flop, it's okay. I have my rep.
Yeah.
As prior to like Reggie, he's still,
Good
right
point.
now, he's building his. Yeah. So maybe that's why you take
Good
it way
point.
harder. I mean.
Well, I don't know. He said his whole life he's kind of roll like that. And, like.
Well, like, let me tell you another story. So, you know, one of my partners, Matt, he has mechanics, which I used to do a lot of work on. Yeah. People in New York, they're like, oh, you still doing mechanics? I'm like, no, that's all Matt. And they're like, bet, that's all I need to know. And again, no shade to Matt, but literally those were just like my homies saying, oh, we fuck with it because it's yours.
Yeah.
You get me? But now with Syndicate, to me, it's just kind of like, I really hope people like it because at the end of the day, it's like an extension of me. Like all these shirts, it's like, I like this, I do this. I'm not just fucking, I don't know. Like I said, the Bread Force story. Oh, Bread Force came out and make a black and red shirt.
Right.
They're fun because I do like a lot of mom and pop brands. I like going on Instagram. Yeah, not even supporting. It's just that like they have more fun. It's more fun when it comes to like mom and pop merch than as to these big. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older.
You know what I think it is? I think it's like a connection.
Yeah, it's like you know them. Like even like with Matt dropping that tea now, it's like people are like, oh, he works at Syndicate, and even like with Andy, like it's like, oh, he works at Syndicate. You know, like so people are like, oh, he's there's a validation stuff right there.
There we go. That's the word.
But what I was gonna say, right now for us that we're not that known, I would say, like yeah, we have like a little bit of a buzz, but I feel like right now with our merch, we can get super creative and not worry about like a cease and desist or something like that because we're still small, you know, and we're not pumping out 1 million tees. We're pumping out 100, 150 tees. You get it, you don't. Good luck, you know, like that's all it is. So I already have a ton of designs ready for when if we blow up. These are original super designs that like we can't. There's no way we're gonna get a cease and desist. Mm-hmm. But even with these new designs, we do everything like legally. We're like we change all the steps we need to change.
Like with the Spider-Man shirt.
Yeah, like
with the Amazing Syndicate.
Yeah, well, not even that. That one. I was nervous because it's Marvel, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
they don't fuck around. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't fuck around. But again, I think we're still like we could still have a lot of fun with it right now. And that's why I make all these shirts because I'm just like, all right, cool. Right now that we can get away with it, let's get away with it, and it'll be cool to like in 5 years. Let's say we do get our first cease and desist. The kids that have that fucking Amazing Syndicate shirt be like, damn, they didn't get a cease and desist for this one. You know, like it actually dropped.
I guess it's perception then, because like every answer I kind of asked you, you kind of flipped it to your own perception and flipped it to like a positive way. Like, yeah, we're small, so we can be creative, aka like make mistakes or kind of get risky, do these Marvel and cool rip-off tees. So, cool. Well, yeah, I mean,
was,
unless you guys have any more questions.
yeah. So where did the name? Who was the person that called you Bris? Where'd that come from?
That was Chris Russo, the owner of Round 2. When he hired me, everybody would say, "Yo, Chris," and me and him be like, "What?" And it was just getting annoying. So one day he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna call you Bris," and it stuck. So Chris Russo made that name, and it has like a funny meaning because I didn't know what it meant. And then when I went in New York, there's a lot of Jewish people, and they're like, "Yo, you know what Bris means?" And I was just like,
Oh wait, there's an actual meaning to.
I'll tell you off thing. But, but he's like, "Why did they call you Bris?" And I was just like, "Oh, I don't know, just they changed the B to the C." He's like, "Bro, do you know what that even fucking means?" A little ass 13-year-old. And I was just like, "Oh no!" And then he told me, and I was just like, "Oh, I guess that's me, you know." I was like, "I'm kind of a dick, so yeah, I guess."
That's funny. Outside of sneakers and streetwear, for those that don't know, what are you about? What are your interests? What are you doing when you're not at the store?
Sleeping. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm actually.
Probably sleeping though.
I always tell people that I don't do anything, but I'm actually a very busy person. I work out a lot. Even though I say I'm never going out, I go out a lot. Too much. Think I have a problem. But it's mainly fitness stuff. Like, I like being by the beach too. I love the beach. Like, I feel like the beach to me, like in New York, I had this sick ass view, and the concrete, like obviously the buildings and like the concrete jungle is what they call New York. To me, I would look out my window and be like, damn, like so many possibilities. Like the world is at my grasp. Here in LA, that's how the beach became to me. Like I fell in love with the beach. Like I go to the beach, I'll sit there, take off my shoes, go in the water for a bit, and just be like, damn, like I could do. If I put my like mind into it, like I could achieve anything. And to me, it's just, I think it's because I know the ocean doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, this race, that race, it'll take you if it wants to. So me knowing that is kind of like, all right, I could do anything I want.
That's pretty deep, bro.
Bris is kind of deep. I had a question for you. So a couple of days ago, you threaded a little cryptic thread. August means the last dance for Cindy starts, unless I change my mind. What does that mean?
Well, in my podcast, I said, my first store credit podcast, I said that I want to, for me, Syndicate, it would be cool. It'll be a cool 3-year project. It'll be 3 years and done. Leave at its peak. And don't be that store that, like, damn, they fell off. They had to close down, you know. So I was just like, yo, like, I feel like our third year is going to be like a prime type year. And I was just like, it'll be cool to, like, do a good year. And then when August 2024 comes, just leave. Like, don't even say nothing.
Don't even announce nothing.
Nothing. Just
What'd you do? Why,
Hey,
bro?
Lon's gonna pull up
Why, bro?
Let's go to Cindy.
Yeah, I'll be crying, bro. What the fuck? I'm gonna pull up on Saturday.
Like I even said, we'll take our gate back too, because we paid for those giant gates. Where like,
Are you gonna be like what is it, like the Fresh Prince, that episode, bro? And be like this, just looking around, what the fuck?
I'm a grab Bris.
Bro, dog.
This motherfucker blocked me.
Bro, that shit would be sad as
that's why I
fuck.
said, like, even if I might change my mind, I don't know.
Dog, change your mind, bro, please. I'll fucking cry on God.
But let's say it had like the third year's everything you would imagine. That would mean it would close shop if it's like the best year.
It
Like,
just really depends. Like it's
You're
not,
wild, bro.
It could be. I could literally, like, shit you not. Somebody could offer me $1 million to keep it open, and if I don't feel like if I want to keep it open, I won't keep it open. And it's because it's not, to me, none of this shit is about the money. It's more of like, if I'm not having fun no more, I'm like, all right, cool. But then right now, like I said, like now getting used to LA, I'm having fun. Like, again, you know, I'm like, it's cool. Like, we hoop every Friday. Like, you guys come to the shop. Like, it's like I'm essentially growing into a new version of myself. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like my first year here was a tough transition from being a New Yorker to, like, coming back to LA. And that's why I said I feel like I'm not even from LA, even though I am from LA. So then now, that's why I said if I change my mind, because just, like, I'm not sporadic, you know, like.
Yeah, I see now.
Yeah.
But okay, let's say
that'd be ill though, low-key. I can't lie.
Ain't no damn movie.
I just think it'll just be hilarious. And if
you'd
people
laugh.
know, what people know is, like, I'm a giant troll. Like
You probably switch locations or some shit and not tell anyone.
that's a thought in my head. Like I was thinking maybe switch locations. But it's hard because Chinatown is cool. But I just feel like another location with more foot traffic would be, because right now I would want to say we're the cool store, but we're the cool store that you go get cool shit.
Yeah.
The business side of me is like, all right, cool, this is good, but I can do more, where I can have your regular non-Intuit consumer come in and buy a pair of Panda Dunks, buy a Supreme shirt. That I feel like we miss that type of money a lot, because right now people come in as like, I know what I'm gonna get
Specifically,
and it's just like we save people so much time, and I think people don't get how much time we save them by answering our DMs. Because I'll stop you from coming to the store, just tell you like, yo, bro, it's sold. You're not gonna come to the store no more.
Exactly.
But I feel like if we can get that everyday consumer that's just walking by and it's just like, oh, I've seen your hat on the internet, can I buy it? Oh yeah, it's right here, boom. Or my son's been looking for these, let me buy them. So I feel like in Chinatown we're never gonna get that, because Chinatown is just like, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
it's a pain
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah.
It's worth it to me. It's worth it because
Yeah.
you guys have the shit that I want.
Yeah.
But to go there every day, be a regular consumer walk, but you'd either have to live there, or you just got to be just
Or be me, huh?
just
Or
yeah.
make the trip.
Have no
'Cause
life.
It's like it's like an hour away. Parking's bad, but that's how you know. Like God,
For this guy, not me.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Hour away, parking's bad.
Jesus Christ,
food
bro.
sucks.
to the average Los Angeles individual going to Syndicate,
yeah.
I feel
it's an
like
hour
we're right
away.
in the middle of everybody though.
Yeah, they are Los Angeles, low key.
Yeah,
You're
I'm-
like South Bay, dog.
That's a different. Yeah, it
That's
is.
same shit.
Hey,
I've had done that trip from Torrance to them, and it's a bitch. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
but
But
even
when
if
I
you
come
come
from
from the
home
west
over here,
side-
it only takes me 20 minutes to get up to
But
Syndicate.
like, let's say, all right, so what if, let's just say we would open up on Melrose on 7320, where it was the old round 2. That's a little further, I would say, right?
yeah,
way further.
It's about
further for
to
you and
me,
us.
that's further from us.
It's an
right?
hour. It's an hour for both, but it's easier to get to. It's like 5-10 minutes easier to get to you guys than to there, because I could just go park in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nah,
On
see,
Melrose, you gotta actually find parking.
And your car
so-
might get broken into.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm glad. I like where you guys are at. Honestly. It's like that's the first I go to LA. To be honest.
No. I'm not saying I don't like. Where
I don't
they're
know,
at.
bro. You just went off a list.
I'm saying
crazy.
I was
I
gonna
know
lead
what
off
you
into a compliment.
I know what you mean, because like I'm telling you, there's no way you're like that West Side mom or West Side parent is gonna walk into the store, because we have a good friend. His name is Jonathan. He's a good buyer. He always buys any heat we have in an 11, and he tells us like, yo, I have a lot of friends that are probably like on the like more well off, I would say, and they're like, but they just don't come past the 110 because they don't like coming past the 110.
Everybody hates the fucking 110.
Yeah. But it's funny because I always make the joke. I was like, I don't go past the 110 the other way. You know, I stay on my side. But I get it what he means, because, like, even I have one of my good friends, Tim, and he's a La Brea, like, other side of, like, Melrose kid, like, where
Yeah.
he's just hanging out on those sections. And to him, it's like, fuck, I don't want to go past the 110. So I get it, you know. And that's why I said, like, maybe change location is another thing, or maybe just do a whole second store. I don't know.
Would you bring it over here to our side if you were? Is that like every idea?
No.
No.
No, it's just because, like,
Doesn't make sense.
it would have had to start here, then go over there.
I don't know, dog. I don't know. I heard that. Like, I don't like. Well, first, what are your thoughts on sneaker stores in the mall?
I hate them.
Me too.
Okay, me too.
I don't want to say like I hate them, like, but I did say it.
I feel like they don't belong though. That's my thing.
It's just it's just they all look the same. And no disrespect to nobody, but every single sneaker store I've ever walked into a mall, and I walk into all of them just as a fucking sneakerhead. Doesn't matter. I look. I don't go in there and make fun of prices. I just want to look at shoes. Just because to me, like, a shoe, a T-shirt, it's like a work of art. You know, I'm just looking at it and it sounds fucking corny, but that's just the way I see the game. So no matter what, like, I walk into the stores. There was one in Citadel. I don't know if it's still there. It's called Soul's Art. A lot of their employees come to our store, but every time I go in there, I check it out. I just want to see the shoes, but it's just a quick lap. There's a couple in Stonewood Mall. It's down the street from my house, and same thing. I walk in, but they look the same. It's like a carbon copy.
Corporate
all
type thing, huh?
Yeah.
You have your
So-
dunk wall, and then you have
Jordan
whatever
wall.
retro just came out.
And then dunks and mids.
And
Exactly.
used.
And then
But-
you have like one Travis or one SB or won anything, and then it's just Travis merch, some Supreme stuff, and that's it.
So that leads me to the next question. Like, would Syndicate ever be in a mall?
No.
Even with your, like, you know, you say, like, it all looks the same. Even if you guys kept doing what you were doing?
No.
I honestly don't even think you can put your own personality in a mall.
In a mall.
That's a good point. Actually, I mean, I don't know. That's a good point,
because
though,
it's
too.
like I feel like we could do whatever we want, and I do whatever I want. Like I throw parties, have little events, fucking literally do whatever I want at the store, you know. But it just like for example, Round 2 New York City, which was on Stanton Street, it was like a clubhouse. You would go meet up there. So that we still have not even gotten close to what Round 2 New York City was. I think Round 2 New York City was the best store ever put together. But if we get close to that, I'd be happy because I would want Syndicate to be that like clubhouse store. Like, yo, link me at Syndicate. Let's make moves from Syndicate. Oh, let's go eat after here. Because that's what Round 2 New York City was. Round 2 New York City, people, all our homies, sometimes there'd be like 25 people in the back. And they weren't shopping, they weren't selling us shoes. They were just meeting up their homies to go somewhere else. And it was just fun. Like,
you kind of see the store right now getting that, like a little bit of that traction. Like, oh, okay.
It's getting little by little because now people are starting to understand, like, oh, I could hang out. Like, Bris don't care. Like, I could do this. I could go downstairs. I could do this. Like, and that's what I want it to be. You know, but I feel like if we were in a different location too, it'll create that buzz too, I would say.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you are creating the perfect store. I know you just said New York City was the perfect store, but you said Riff, Round 2 LA, Round 2 New York, District 1, and Syndicate. So there's 5 stores. I need you to put together the perfect store by taking one thing of each store, and I'm going to give you the options.
Ooh.
Super easy. So 1, location. So that means the space of the store and the actual address location. So you'll pick one of those locations. Culture/team would be another one. 3 would be the era that you worked in at the store, like your favorite sneaker and streetwear era. Let me pull this up, and I'll follow along with you so you could kind of answer correctly. The economy and the market of that era, so that kind of goes hand in hand. And then, yeah, the merch / if you guys did merch or whatever you kind of had your hand in at the time. But we'll start off with location and space. Out of your 5 previous stores, which location and space are you taking?
Around to New York City.
Okay.
I
might know.
I just think that for everyone. I can see it in his face right now, bro.
If New York, it must be the best store ever.
As soon as you
Let's
started
just keep
asking
going.
him this was New York, that's all I read on his face.
So your team and your staff and the culture.
New York City.
Syndicate's Syndicate staff's like, what the fuck, Chris? No, they probably know. You're probably honest. The economy and the era and the market.
The economy, post-pandemic, Round 2, New York City. The era, the Riff era.
Ooh. Okay.
The Riff era.
2012.
It was just, we were the sneaker game. Like, Riff is the OGs. Like, I have so much respect for those guys, like Jeff and Ed, Jason, everybody that I met there, because that era is just like, it was new, you know, like it wasn't new for us, but like to like the regular consumers, it's like, damn, I could go get fucking shoes here, like that are sold out that I've never seen in my life. Like they never seen none of these shoes in their life. You gotta think about it now. You're like, let's say my mom, she walks into the mall and she's like, oh, I see all the shoes that Chris sells at the mall stores. Well, some of them, like in her eyes, what she sees, you know. But you would go into Riff and you were seeing Air Mags, Paris's,
crazy shit,
London's, Nike basketball, like shit that was for sure gone from the retailers, like for sure, because now you could go into some Foot Lockers and they have Dunks, Yeezys, blah blah blah. But yeah, I would say the era, my favorite era working shoes was the Riff era.
They even had streetwear. They were selling streetwear before stores were selling. Like, dude, there was like a Vault Supreme in that case in the environment. Was it Riff Dos, right?
Riff Dos was too early.
Yeah, it really was.
Like, I think it was too early because the shit they had in there, bro, like, insane. Oh my God. Like, the shit they still have. Like, my friend said that he shot Jeff for this complex thing. He was just like, bro, this man has an insane collection of Supreme that it's like, it's too late now to sell because nobody cares about it, but he has it. But But again, like I think Riff was super ahead of its time.
Yeah, it
even
really
with
was.
Riftos
Was crazy. I remember that's where I got my first pair of dub taps.
Yeah,
That
they
store,
used to have all
bro.
those shits.
Everything,
Yeah.
bro. Everything that I went to Riftos more than the actual
Riftos, yeah.
Riftos was fucking
It
insane,
was
bro.
like a streetwear, like, and it was funny because Ed would always make fun. He's like, "Go check my closet." Like, it was so much good shit. Preem, Old Babe,
like
double tap shit,
Hennessy
Fist Bump,
Supreme jerseys,
like-
bro. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, but era, I would say the Riff era.
And you think that's like, do you consider that like your personal kind of sneaker streetwear era? Like
Yeah.
for me, it was like the 2015, 16, 17 round two.
Yeah, I would say like that era because it was like raw straight denim, like Dior straight denim. Like it wasn't skinny yet. It was still like very street. Like you wear a good streetwear tee with like semi straight leg baggy-ish jeans and a good pair of like Jordan ones.
Like to me, that correlated to like the vlog ever rap, bro. You would see like Casey Veggies and stuff, Don Kennedy and
Yeah, I
stuff
remember
like
that's
that.
how we met Don.
True.
Yeah.
Casey Veggies would come in, and Frank Ocean was a consignment seller.
Odd Future was there too.
Odd Future, like yeah, it was a good era, and I remember Riff had the basketball athletes like on deck. Like I remember Jeff would save anything from 13 to 16, put it at a like hidden location, and anytime a hooper came in, took him over there.
That's
Damn.
crazy.
Boom.
What last thing on the whole store stuff? What was it about New York?
I think it's just like you had to be there. Like me and some of those like employees of mine, we still talk about it. How like it was just special. Like we were a giant family. Like we would do everything together. The city like embraced us. You would go to Stanton Street, bro, and it was like a block party. The resellers were outside. The resellers got it. They're like, let them go into round two first. If Bris dubs it, it's either fake or the guy wants too much. So like because at some stores, like at round two, they would have the problem with the corner kids that would buy the stuff before it would make it into round two. But the resellers over there respected us so much that they would let them go into round two first. And then after I dubbed it, they would then ask them, like, yo, how much you want, blah, blah, blah. And I remember they would come back to me and be like, yo, is this real? And I'm like, yeah, he just wanted too much.
Yeah.
But it was just like everybody, like, it's almost like, it's hard to explain. I could do a fucking 10-hour segment on why New York.
I also think I've never been in New York, but I feel like the culture over there is way more different. People are more
raw.
I think it's just like, I don't want to say it's more real, but it's just like
outgoing in a way.
you're seen. And that's the thing with me here. I feel like me out here, I feel like I'm in a car and stuff like that. I don't know. And it's not even like city-wise. It's just like who I was around. Like I said, post-pandemic, around to New York City, like, bro, like, I remember if I was just like, all right, today we're going to make 30 bands. We're going to make 30 bands.
That's
Like,
crazy.
I remember, like, closing out, and again, this is the trust. I would carry, like, 30 G's in my pocket for the deposit for the next morning, and I didn't want to leave it at the store because of everything was going on, where I was just like, yo, if it happens again, the shit's there. Mm-hmm. So I remember I was running around the city, but everybody knew who you were, so it's kind of like, I'm not worried about getting, like, robbed. Now I can't do that because obviously fucking LA's cooked. Like,
It's bad.
bro, somebody broke my window and opened my glove compartment. There was just gum there. I'm just like, but it's just like, it's not even about the money. It was just, bro, it was just fun. It was just like, it was crazy. Like,
It's a movie.
we could post anything and it was selling. Like, literally anything.
You guys were buying a lot too. Were people taking in stuff during that time?
Yeah. This is like, no, this is when we reopened. Like,
Got
post,
you.
Oh, this is post-pandemic?
post quarantine. It was like me and the owners of District 1 still talk about it, how like we were part of a bubble. It bursted quick, obviously, because the money ran out. But we were part of a bubble.
You talk about
But like, bro, like,
EDD.
we're making so much fucking money. Like, it was actually insane. Like, resellers were making money. We were making money. The stores were making money. The employees were making money. Like, everybody was happy. Everybody ate. Like, the streets ate. I ate. Luke, Sean, Chris ate. Like, it was perfect.
So, obviously, we're not from New York. So, out there, did it die out?
When I left it at peak. I left round to New York City at like, never wanted to leave it because I had it so high. Like, I remember round to New York City looked like Syndicate. Like, shoes in the back that we didn't even have on display, that where I tell people, I'm like, yo, we might have your size in the back, just let me know. Like, I left it so high up. Like, I left it like, you couldn't say nothing bad about me when I left because I left it like
Perfect.
Like, I left you with so much money to make, and then who knows what happened after, but, that's not my problem.
During your round 2, or like all your guys, like the whole Syndicate crew, you guys didn't even know at the time you guys were like the face of round 2 for a little bit, huh?
We didn't even know. We were just having fun. Like, we didn't know what was going on. Like, we were just, everybody was just just genuinely into it. Like, we were into Supreme. Like, when the fragments, like, I saw one of our homies' podcast that he said round 2 helped the fragments go up to Jordan 1, but it was like all of us were wearing fragments, and we didn't know that anything we were touching, it was almost like an effect. Yeah. Like, anything Sean was posting up, like anything we were posting up, but it was just because we were just, again, like, we weren't forcing anything. It was just like, it was genuine.
Clubhouse, dude.
It was literally genuine Clubhouse shit.
Do you guys feel like the YouTube show blew you guys all up?
Yeah,
it's like 2 different, because like people that were watching that first kind of round 2 before they came to LA were watching all those episodes, right? And then they were tapped in when Hollywood opened, and then a few years later. But then think about the people that were pulling up in 2016 and just knew you guys, and then maybe they didn't do the history and they're just watching the current shit.
And
it's like
back too.
Yeah, and then they come back and say, "Oh, these fools, like, Sean's up here, they're all doing this now." It's like, damn.
Yeah. Because I don't even feel like Sean knew that he was blowing up either. Like, he was just having fun too,
There's no way.
Like, no, like, sometimes he'd be like, "Oh, I don't know, blah, blah."
I think sometimes when you're in it, I mean,
that's the
plus
thing.
it's like a daily thing for you guys. If you're pulling up daily,
it's funny because, like, during that time, a lot of people were saying that, like, round 2 was like a culture vulture type thing. But I was just like, I never saw none of that. I thought they were genuine guys, because now I see certain, like, people doing, like, the culture vulture thing, and I'm just kind of like,
there's a clear cut difference.
Yeah, there's a clear cut. Like, Sean was genuinely into, and still is. He's a student of the game. Luke, Russo, same thing. Even though they don't really show it, they're sneaker streetwear nerds just like me. Like, that's why we got along.
Compared to those guys who don't even know what the fuck they're buying.
Exactly.
Can't name a shoe. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, the culture vulture stuff was definitely like something that people probably seen maybe a little later on, but like that might have been just probably from the success. Maybe other store owners were there. Other store owners felt a type of way, maybe because they're locals and who's these out of towners coming, and now they got all the clout. Like,
yeah,
it's easy to judge on the outside. Like as a person who sees both sides, like I was tapped in, so I was watching the show, and like you could see how much they cared and how much Sean was like into everything, and he knew what year, everything, versus like I could just be a black guy walking in and I see Jordan's overpriced and who are all these white and Hispanic dudes selling this stuff for? Like, you don't know anything about my culture. But if you go and you actually tap in and you watch, it's just like, oh shit, like they've been around since 05, 06, 07, 09. Like they know.
Bro, I'm telling you, some of the shit that he would teach, like I feel like the reason why Syndicate is where it's at right now, and again, I still think we're just like rookies starting, but it's like I learned so much from certain people, from Jeff and Ed. I learned a lot, kept it with me. Sean, Chris, Russo, learned so much, kept it with me. And then when I got to New York, Danny Arango, and then Simon, the owners of District 1, they taught me shit that, like, if it wasn't for those two guys, Syndicate would be in a hole right now. Like, those guys taught me so fucking much on the back end and business side, where I was just kind of like, I was just paying attention to everything. And that's why I think deep down I took that job at District 1, because Round 2 had offered me to come back. And I was going to come back to Round 2. But Danny called me one night, and he was just like, yo, I heard you're going to come back. Why don't you just come work for us? And he's just like, and I'll pay you more, and all you got to do is buy. And then that night I was just like, all right, fuck it, let's do this shit. And then, but I learned so much business through them. We're just like studying. Like, Simon is like, if you ever think of like the word elite, Simon is elite. Like, Simon is like clean cut, like knows how to dress, knows business, knows how to have fun. Like, Simon is like an elite person. So I learned so much, just like, and not even like telling them like, yo, teach me. I would just pay attention. Like, I'd be like, all right, this is what they're doing. All right, cool. This is how to move. Blah blah blah.
I have a question. This might be a little personal on my end too, but like, once I became sort of like a manager or a leader, and friends are involved in the workspace, and especially when you're doing something that might be considered like a hobby and it's fun and it's supposed to be lighthearted. How has like being in your role now at Syndicate changed you as like a boss / manager, but also like a person?
I'm a troll. Like, I'm a deep down troll. I mean, I think if you guys follow me on Threads on Instagram, I let that shit out. You know, I don't give a fuck. But it's because I say it once. And everybody around to New York City, I was like the boss the whole time, from when it opened to the end. I will tell you once, this is what I want from you. This is what we're fucking doing. We're grown men. If somebody tells me one thing, I'm going to take that one time and be like, all right, I remember this. I have to tell you once, I've gone off like giant paragraphs, like, yo, we got to do this, we need this, I need that, I need this. And if you don't do that after that, all right, fuck you. I'm going to troll you. Like, it's almost like, it sounds deep saying bury you, but I'm going to make fun of you till you fucking get it, because I told you already once. You know, it's not that hard. I wake up at 6 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
Every morning. I was out till 4 in the morning on Saturday.
Come on now.
And I said that I was on a hike at 7 in the morning the next morning.
Nuts.
But I see that though, and I salute it because it's
dedication. Bro.
I see your long days, and your days probably aren't even like mine. And I like to think I'm busy, but
see, everybody's at their own pace. So, but to me, it's kind of a disrespect and a slap in the face to me when I could wake up at 6 in the morning, I could do this, and I could still show up to work on time. And I had a full 6-hour shift essentially before I even gotten into work. And this is me going home, making a breakfast, taking a shower, cleaning my room, like doing so much. So then when somebody's just like, oh, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be like, all right, bro, what's up with you? Like,
That shit was.
but everybody sees it. I am an open book. Like, like, even when I saw this kid, a good customer of ours, and he's just like, damn, bro, Threads is lit, bro. Like, I love that shit.
It's funny because I even text him sometimes. I was like, bro, who's in trouble? Who's in trouble today? And it was funny too because it was something that I noticed. So the other day I was at the store, and I think Matt told me to get a shirt. And I was like, so I'm just there to kick it. I don't work there, you know, so whatever. But I'll help when I could, whatever. I'll throw it in your hand. So I want to grab a shirt, but I was like, which one does he want? I don't really know where shit's at. Like, you know, like I'll go in the back sometimes, but I don't pay attention. Bro, and like I literally, bro, was like taking like 20 seconds. This fool walks over, grabs the shirt, and takes it. Bro, I was like, what the fuck, dog? He just sighed all hard. I was like, I just sat down. I was like cracking up. I was like, Jesus, bro. It was 20 seconds where I just walked back. I was like, oh, all right, I was going to grab it because Matt's like, right there. So I was like, oh, I finally got it. This fool. As soon as I turn around, grab the shirt, dog. I started cracking up in my head, bro. I wanted to throw my shoe at him.
Again, like to me, it sucks for me, I would say, because I'm used to working at a certain level where I come back here and I'm like, yo, Syndicate is like, it's nowhere near the pace that I used to work at, where I'm like, bro, like my mom always says, ponte las pilas.
Yeah.
But do you feel like that's a LA versus New York thing?
No, that's
just
just
like
a work thing.
No,
No, it's not even a work thing because
speed, my bad.
because round 2 Hollywood was fucking fast, bro.
So you're saying like just essentially like just inside it's just slower rather than just.
That's just him. That's how he operates. That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
That's just him, man. He sides at people trying to help. I'm just kidding. I reflect before we close out. We gotta make it a little fun. What's this year? What's like the worst trend that you hate? Trend or something that's dropped or something that bugs shit out of you?
Fuck. What is it? I don't know.
Oh, they're gonna say the Mac attacks.
Well, the Mac Attack, I like what they did, but I don't like the shoe.
I have them on.
He's a hater, bro. He's
I
a
love
hater.
it.
Seriously, drop hater.
I think I want to say like I don't hate on trends because New Balance Asics are a trend.
Yeah.
I have a ton of them shits.
Okay,
You know?
not hate. Something that irks you.
Something that irks me is faking it till you make it.
We heard.
I'm glad we agree. My kind of guy.
Like it's just like, yo, like get into something because you're actually into something. Like don't lie about it. Or if you have a certain opinion, stick to that opinion.
Don't flip-flop.
Don't flip flop. But yeah, I follow trends. Everybody follows trends.
Yeah.
It's a thing, you know. Like it's okay.
It's a wave. Yeah.
It's a wave. Like that's what I said. Adaption. If you would have told me at Riff that we were gonna be selling Asics and New Balances, I would be like, LOL.
Yeah,
you're kidding
shit's
me.
crazy.
If you would have told me at Rift that we were gonna be selling Adidas called Yeezys, I would have been like, LOL, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
You get me? If you would have told me Nike LeBron South Beach Jates were gonna be 150 brand new,
that's
I
fucking
would
crazy,
have
bro.
laughed at
Laugh
you.
at you.
You
It's
get
crazy.
me? So it's just like you gotta adapt,
Yeah.
and if you don't adapt,
You get
gonna,
stuck.
you're gonna get left behind.
So,
Sheesh.
I'll close it
Well, man, I appreciate you pulling up for us. This guy doesn't know it, but he's soon, and Syndicate will soon be, if it isn't already, a staple in the community, especially for something new. And I feel like it's been a restart after 2020 and COVID. So let them know what you're about. Let them know where you can find your stuff. Any last words before we head out?
Nothing. No. I mean, you come find me at the store, 969 North Hill Street. You guys want to go for a jog, go play basketball, hit up Hudson.
Hit up us.
We're done. My roster's full. I'm sorry, bro. I'm just kidding.
No, but yeah, just come hang out, come talk shit. Ask me any questions if you guys need any help with anything, advice, anything. My DMs are always open. And yeah, that's it.
And if we put you on the Syndicate, let Chris know when you pull up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
$1 store credit.
10% off.
And if you need a car, hit me.
Yeah.
I see like 5 months.